Hey boys and girls, we're going to work on determining main idea in books that you used. Um, that you used to read was easy, but now the author is going to make it trickier. The author used to tell you the main idea, and it was usually one of the first few sentences. And I have an example of that. We're going to look at this book, Bats. And if you notice up at the top here, it says level 2. Check out the table of contents, and it says, what's a bat? Bat food, night flight, bat bodies, funny face, hanging out, baby bats. And all those are pretty, what is a bat? Bat food. Those tell you the main idea right there. If we continue on and look at this page from the Bat book, what's a bat? I sleep by day, I fly by night. I have no feathers to aid my flight. What am I? The answer is a bat. A bat is a mammal. Mammals are animals that nurse their young, have hair, and are warm-blooded. We could stop reading right there, and I could say, hey, what is the main idea? And you would tell me, it's right here in this sentence. A bat is a mammal. So when you first start reading nonfiction, and even in some of the nonfiction books that you choose, the main idea is right there, topic sentence. They make it easy. But as you push yourself to read harder and harder text, nonfiction text, it's going to be harder for you to show, harder for you to pick out, what the main idea is. Now that you're beginning to read complex nonfiction text, you can't just read the way that you used to. You have to figure out what challenges the nonfiction texts in these harder levels pose so that you can tackle them. Are you up for the challenge? Nonfiction doesn't work the same way anymore. You should be pushing yourself, to read harder and harder texts, ones that are more complex. And you'll have to figure out what those challenges are as you read. And sometimes, like we mentioned yesterday, you have to live in that gray area where you're thinking, what is this trying to tell me? What is this trying to teach me? And you'll move on from there. So we're going to explore a little bit. I want to show you two texts side by side. And it's from the octopus. So we looked at the octopus the other day. And we looked at Lessons from the Deep. This one over here on the right side is the level 5. So you have a copy of that in your desk somewhere if you were to dig it out. And we read the beginning of all the strange and wonderful creatures that live in the ocean. One unique creature stands out above the rest. And right there, we didn't know the topic. It says it is the amazing octopus. There are over 300 different types of octopus, and they can be found in every ocean in the world. If we look over here, this is a level 3 version of the text. And if you read the beginning, of all the strange and wonderful creatures in the ocean, one stands out. It's the amazing octopus. There are over 300 different species of octopus, and they can be found in every ocean in the world. So it starts out very, very similar, but we have a little bit more in this 5th grade text. So then we get a subheading. Notice how there's the subheading right here as a text feature. Bodies like no other. Well, now we know in this part, they're going to talk about the body of the octopus. Over here, we don't have the benefit of that subheading to help guide us in the right direction to know where to find the topic. It even tells us right here, subheadings and topics, sentences pop out. We don't get that in 5th grade. We have to read harder text. We have to do more thinking for ourselves. It says the octopus has a body unlike any other animal. The body is called the mantle. If you go out over here, the octopus has a body like any other animal. It's called a mantle, and it's soft and shaped like a bag. So the texts are very similar, but we do end up getting more detail in our 5th grade text. Yesterday, I left you here with the introduction of When Lunch Fights Back, the challenge of survival. No one said living on planet Xenon would be easy. Hungry aliens are everywhere. A new group just slithered into view. The aliens are well armed with lasers and a contraption that shoots out nets for capturing prey. The prey, of course, is you. Well, if we go on to the next page, the science behind the story. Here's another page in the book. It's not the next page in the book. But it says, hagfish aren't, despite their name. Hagfish aren't fish, but despite their name. They are primitive eel-like animals that have been roaming the ocean for millions of years. Hagfish have no jaws and no backbone. What they do have, however, is slime. Douglas Fudge should know. Fudge is a biologist at the University in Ontario, Canada. He has been studying hagfish and their slimy defense since 1997. The slime is amazingly effective at preventing hagfish from being eaten by fish predators, including sharks. Oh, now I'm getting the idea behind Lunch Fights Back. They're talking about predator and prey, and hagfish has a way of fighting off predators. It's the slime. It took me a little bit to figure out. I had to read farther into the story to find out what the main idea was. So that's what you need to do as fifth graders. You are going to have more complex texts to read about and figure out what your main idea is. Then you can continue reading. The slime is amazingly effective at preventing hagfish from being eaten by fish predators, including sharks, said Fudge. Hagfish release slime the moment something tries to bite them, or even just bothers them. Fudge has been slimed many times while gently handling hagfish in his laboratory. The slime comes from special glands in the hagfish skin. The glands actually release two ingredients that combine to make the slime. One ingredient is slippery mucus, the other is thread-like fibers. Hagfish slime is the only slime we know of in nature that has fibers, Fudge explained. So there, it just gave me a ton of details as to why the slime is so effective at preventing the hagfish from getting eaten. The hagfish can't be lunch to many predators. And so it says right here, the main idea is implicit. Implicit means it's hidden. The author doesn't come out and tell you the main idea. You have to do a lot of work to figure it out. As you read today, you're going to be armed with new knowledge about ways it can be hard to determine the main idea. That knowledge will help you figure out how main idea works in the text you read today. So we already talked about being implicit. Look at my last idea here. The central ideas and main ideas are implicit. They're hidden. We have to think harder about them. Sometimes the headings and subheadings don't help, or they're misleading. So if we go back to yesterday's table of contents, right here, look at these. Slip sliming away, concealed weapons. So the slip sliming away has to be the hagfish. And I do have another, I think this is, ooh, here we go. A hagfish slithers along the ocean bottom, moving like a snake. The primitive deep-sea creature is nearly blind, but has a keen sense of smell. It's picked up the scent of a dead whale from more than 1 mile away. The hagfish follows the smell through the water. When it reaches the whale's carcass, it swims around the remains, sizing up the feast. Then the hagfish sinks its teeth into the dead whale's soft, rotting flesh and takes a big bite. And then look, there's all these text features, like this circle here that says a hagfish rests on the muddy ocean bottom. And over here it gives you some more information about the hagfish, the scientific name, it's where it lives. It's in the Atlantic Ocean. The habitat is on or near the ocean bottom. And the size, it can be up to 2.5 feet long. So that's pretty good size. Oh, not as big as our snake in the classroom, which is 3 feet 5 inches, but it's still pretty big for an eel on the ocean floor. So they like to hide. They use this to draw you in, to get your attention. So when you read today, what I really need you to do is think about what's helping you find the main ideas. Are there headings and subheadings? Are there pictures? Are there captions? Are they misleading? Are they direct? There can be several main ideas to the books that you're reading, and these ideas can be hidden or implicit. So when you're reading today, what I want you to do is I want you to look for these ideas, look for the main ideas, and notice your thinking with these ideas. Are the main ideas chunked together? When are new ideas presented? Are the new ideas given with a subheading? What are you noticing? And write that stuff down. Add it to your journal. I want to see it. I want to see what you're thinking and what you're noticing, and that's your assignment for today. Remember, I told you you need to date in your composition book what you're writing, and you need to be reading and writing. You aren't necessarily telling me what you're learning about the book you're reading. You're telling me how are you finding the ideas. We will talk a little bit more about that another time, but this will get you started. Think of any questions that you have. If you have questions for me, write them down so you can ask me later. Bye, boys and girls.